Oranguru.
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 Oranguru. Oranguru. Oranguru. Oranguru. In the jungle, the mighty jungle. Hi, welcome to Chatting Shit. We're going to be talking about the Firefly Cup. With it being the Firefly Cup, and it's absolutely rubbish, Matt couldn't be bothered making any chatting shits this month. So, yeah, you're stuck with me. I'm Becca225. I'm joined today by the current SBL last man standing, Kevin. I'm joined by the current Spice 9 champion, Clyde, whose actual name's William, not Clydefrogman. Can you believe it? No one else can. But this is the truth. And I'm also joined by the ever charming, the always galving Andrew Gregory, Mystic Gas 88. How are we all, gents?
I'm not too bad. Yourself?
Good. Firefly. So, what's our first impressions? Normally, I'm sat here going, this is the best meta ever. I'm super psyched. I think it's going to be brilliant. This month, I'm like, oh, which one of these 12 mons am I going to pick from? Oh, I don't know.
I think 12's ambitious.
You think 12's ambitious?
Yeah.
Well, I believe there's going to be 4 chatting shit, so I hope there's more than 12.
Oh, really?
I think so, yeah.
Well, as you know, I have my struggles just trying to pick a selection for tonight, so...
Yeah, but you ruled half of them out, like, before you'd even thought about it. It's like, nah, that Pokemon's crap. No, this Pokemon's crap. No, I don't want to talk about this. No, I fucking hate this Pokemon. It's like they were just gone.
Yeah, you were choosing a different one an hour ago, mate.
Yeah, well, you know, I've stayed away from my favourite. And yeah, you know, I think Jan's hosted episode has just gone up. It's gone live. They had a few good picks in that one. Let's be honest, no one wants to do Vig, do they?
I
bet
Everyone's going to, though.
Yeah, someone
Everyone's
does.
going to.
Really? It's just, what's there to say about Vig? Vig is Vig. You know, we all know what it does.
Well, yeah, but if you predict something that's going to be popular, you're going to win if you pick Vig because it's going to be popular. But I don't know.
Do you think?
It's great meta, but it's coming so soon after Guardian. I'm going to enjoy it.
I'll call it now. Should we say the elite players? One of them will win a 7-rounder this month without Vig, and even maybe single counter.
I was gonna say it looks like it's a Vig meta from the off, right? But really, is it going to be a Vig meta? Like, I think it is.
8% of teams will have Vig. I looked at a quadruple counter team the other day, and I'm not the only person who's looked at it and gone, yeah, why not? Let's just troll the world.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, there's the quadruple counter with 2 bulky boys sat there in the back giving you a bit of cover. But like, yeah, sure, you can run that, go for it. But
the Flyers are going to field day.
Yeah, I just don't think it. I don't think it's going to work. And we're not talking about Vig, but like, I'm not sure that Vig is the best counter user in this meta either. I know it's ranked as the best counter user in this meta, but I don't think it is.
It's in the top 2.
Yeah,
No, I think it's a 3rd best.
Really? Wow, that's a bold shout.
Yeah, I think in terms of coverage...
Are we going to say too much now, though? Because one of us might be picking a counter user, so let's, maybe not. Before we move on, though, Clyde, have you got any initial thoughts on the meta?
Well, looking through the rankings, it's the same as ever. Like, the big nuke Pokemons are all overrepresented. Like, anything that's got wild charge sits at the top of the rankings, and I don't think we'll see too many of them. There's a couple up there that I'm just sick as shit of, and my pick may or may not be purely to roast them repeatedly to the point where people won't bring them against me, because after 2 months of them, I will get to it, but I can't see them again. You can counter me down all you want, but I just don't want to see those things.
So
I'm
all the
actually
counters,
raced
none of the wild charges.
Yeah. I don't know. It's one of those matters, isn't it? I think that there will be some battlers that will go hard meta in their team selections for this, and they will pick top ranked stuff, and they'll probably do very well and say, actually, you know what, I've enjoyed this at the end of the month just because they've done all right.
Yeah.
But are you going to enjoy yourself while you're playing those 3 battles and then have to say well done or take the praise from your opponent? You know, you're going to feel dirty if you win, like at the end of this month, I think.
You know, Drew's on this call. He uses charm as a regular thing. And
No. Right, we need to go, at some point, we need to go back through my Silph card this season and see how many Mons that
I know,
learn
but
charm
that's
have been
because
used.
that's because we all took on the thing of re-education of Drew. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
We're actually writing a book about it, saying, you know, how we taught you not to use charm.
It's going well. It's going well so far. But I was going to say about with regards to this meta in comparison to Nemesis. I don't know about you guys. I don't know how you've done individually the last meta in Nemesis, results wise. I mean I've done alright. I've had 2 sweeps, small sweeps, 4-0s. I've also had the, you know, it's still ongoing. I'm in a 7-rounder at the time of recording where I was 3-0 up, and I'm now 3-3. You know, playing the last round to salvage a positive result. But I've enjoyed every battle, even when I've lost 3-0.
Yeah,
And a sign of a good meta is that, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
you enjoy your
it's,
battles and you're getting your ass handed to you. You know what I mean?
it's been an interesting month, hasn't it? So I the first tournament I did this month, I didn't do any practice for this. Did I? No, I didn't. Yeah, I did. I did the 1 practice with SBL where I run the stupid no Pokemon in the top 150 or whatever it was. And Latias made its appearance. But that was the only practice I did. And then 2 days later, we started the Imber. But for some horrific lag, would have gone 6-1 in that. Took the same 6 then to our SBL tournament. Got my arse handed to me every single round. Took it to Norwich, went 2-0 up. And then had 2-0-3s. So it's like it's been one of those months where I've quite enjoyed it because there's been a bit more variety, and you know, you can take the same team and you think, yeah, okay, I'm doing really, really well, but then all of a sudden you go up against 6 people that have made ever so slight tweaks and changes to the teams. You just get wiped, and you know. Sometimes those losses are fun, right? Because you spend the time thinking like, how do I get around this? Like, how do I try and win this? And when you get close, you know, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I missed all of the usual tournaments I do because I knew I was going away in the middle of the month, and only played 2 4-rounders. One of them was the Spice Night, which
you swept.
I think if you win the Spice Night, you've lost because you clearly didn't bring enough spice. And so like we're wiping that one out. I've waited it, but I'm wiping it out. And then I did another 4-rounder, which I was absolutely cruising through until I got Right Force in the final, and he absolutely stomped me. And I just thought, after only doing 8 battles, no practice, no nothing else, what a good meta. Like it had a couple of things that I really we'll get onto that I really don't like in there. I use them both, but I don't like them. But it was just fun, you know, like mixed battles. You had lots of things that half counter each other. We did one in January that was in Gym Break Comet, which was similar in a way that you had a lot of stuff that kind of half countered each other, and as long as you didn't end up with Goon against A9, they were really good games. The teams weren't that varied. I met the same teams quite a lot this month, but they were good games all around.
Didn't we get to the semi-finals in Gym Breakers that time as well?
Oh yeah, I think I only lost one battle. Maybe that's why I liked it.
We did pretty well. Just to clarify, your Spice Night team wasn't full of Delian. It wasn't Korma sauce. It actually did have a little bit, a little bit of spice in there, just a little sprinkle. I thought it was okay. I would have mocked you silly if it was rubbish, just to let you know. But we've just talked about Nemesis Cup, which is gone. It's dead. It's over. It was fantastic. I enjoyed it, but it's gone. We're on Firefly.
Yeah, do you think there's a reason why we've gone back to talking about Nemesis when we're supposed to be talking about Firefly?
Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm aware that the guy who does the Nifty 50 articles wrote this meta. It's his meta that he came up with, and I'm wondering, did he just literally sit there and go, right, here's a pile of shit, I'm gonna throw it at the wall, see what sticks, and that's the meta. And we've been left with this. But we're going to start talking about it. So the first pick that we're going to go on with is Kev. Kev, do you want to tell us what you got?
Yeah, so I'm going to address the elephant in the room straight up. I'm just going for it. And we're gonna talk about Pokemon number 113, which just happens to be Chansey. Yeah, I can see that. I can see the reactions already. Now, I can't. I mean, I've not done Silph as long as all of you guys for sure. But I don't think I've seen a meta where Chansey has been available. And if it has been available, it definitely hasn't been a viable pick. It is now. It's an interesting Pokemon, right? It's just straight normal type, so it's got very few weaknesses. It only takes super effective from fighting. Yes, there are a lot of counter users, as we've just touched upon in this, but that's all you're trying to avoid with it, really. Okay, you don't really want to be going up against rock, steel types. Are we going to see many of them? Are there any available?
Rock steel type. I'm not trying to think.
Not a rock steel, but I can think of a steel type that if you brought in a Chansey against me, I would switch straight away into that steel type and just go nuts on you. I wouldn't shield. I'd just completely. I'd end up with like 1 billion energy at the end and still kill you.
Was it popular last month by any chance?
Slash or Shrew, I guess, is what you're talking about.
I'm talking about Zone.
Oh.
Well, the top 4 in the meta are all steel types. In PV Poke, you've got the 2 Magnezone, and you've got the ones that I'm not keen on, the bugs.
Zone, just regular Zone, vanilla Zone. You absolutely annihilate Chansey.
Yeah, but when you've got so many counter users so high up in the meta, who's going to bring steel types? Are you going to risk it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there will be people. Yeah, there will be.
I think, and it's something Clyde touched upon earlier, was because of how strong Wild Charge. I mean, let's not forget, it is just a menace of a move. And if you can go into it and go into, say, the Chansey match, you can build up and build up and build up. You knock off a few mirror shots and suddenly them Zen headbutts are doing absolutely nothing. You shield that Hyper Beam once, you can come out the end of it with, a full Wild Charge banked up and have thrown 3 Wild Charges, dip out, go into something else, and you've still got a Wild Charge. Nothing wants a Wild Charge in the face. Nothing. Even ground types don't really want to take a Wild Charge in the face. And it's a dirty move. It's horrible. Yeah, I don't know. That's just where my mind immediately goes.
I don't know. You kind of got onto one of the points I kind of want to make with Chansey a bit later on. Is like, that's why I'm looking at bringing it. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. It's the crazy bull, right? That you want it for. And nobody wants to be left at the end of their battles here with Chansey versus something that isn't Magnezone or a counter user. So I think the big thing having just done a few practice tournaments, the big thing that I've found when I've had Chansey in my 6 at the minute is that it's very easy at the minute to predict what your opponent's going to bring. The bench pressure from that Pokemon is unreal. Like, they are picking teams to make sure that they're not getting isolated against that Chansey, because they don't want the timeout. They don't want to lose shield advantage against it. So the big highlighted thing on my notes is bench pressure from Chansey. Like, you force your opponent to bring the steel type and the counter users. And so when you bring it, you don't play it. You've got it there. It's sat on your bench. Okay, so you're only picking from 5 Pokemon. But if you pick a good core that beats the steel types and the counter users, and there's some Pokemon, I think we might hear one later, that actually do well against some of the counter users and the steel types. Despite taking super effective damage, they still hold their own. Like, I think Chansey has play on teams of 6, if not actually in the matches itself. I mean, I've run it, right? I've used it in a few practices, and it doesn't have a...
You won a practice tournament using it. I'm not showing off for you here or anything like that, but you did, and you weren't playing against rubbish players. You were playing against, respectable players who...
Yeah. I mean, in that particular tournament, I think Chansey had a 25% win rate in battles it actually made an appearance. But what it did do was, if I bought it in game 1, for example, and I used it as the save swap, it was almost guaranteeing for game 2 that there was 2 counter users or 2 Chansey counters in the back. So I think 3 of the rounds in that cup, I lost the first battle and won the second 2. And I felt that the pressure that Chansey put on from the bench was quite important in that. Is it a tactic I want to use for a whole month going into big 7-round tournaments? I don't know. Probably
everyone
not,
wants to win a London's finest at one point. You know what I mean? It's got to be up there on the list.
Chansey is the epitome of London's finest.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, the other thing I've got on it is like it's a tap Pokemon, right? It's there's not a lot of skill involved if you bring the Chansey in, and it makes an appearance. Maybe. Who knows? I was watching some Twitch streams this morning where Chansey was being used in all seriousness, not even as a meme team. So it is there. It is the elephant in the room, though, because should we have a meta where Chansey is available? I don't know. The one thing I would say is that the way the meta is organized for this is that it's there. We probably will see people pick it, but there are definitely significant counters to it that will be prevalent. It loses to Vig, loses to Goon, loses to Sandslash, loses to Magnezone, Heracross, Gelf, Sizer, Drapion, Oranguru.
Wormy T, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think Wormy T will be prevalent again this month, similar to last month.
It's going to be huge.
I can see Clyde just going
Honestly, it's the ball bag that I don't want more than the worm. But
you say it's a ball bag, isn't it more of a pink triangle?
But for it? No, I'm talking about Forest. Yeah.
Oh.
Those two. I can't cope with them anymore. But yeah.
Yeah. Fortress, I hate that Pokemon. If I never have to see another one ever again, I'll it's not too soon.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Fortress, to be honest. I thought it was a nice Pokemon. I thought the option of using the rock tombs and stuff like that was really fun, because people were expecting the mirror shot. Yeah, so. But we're going off Chansey. We're going away from Chansey here, you know, and Chansey.
That's fine. Let's get away from Chansey.
I mean, Chansey. There's part of me that's got to respect the Chansey user, because it's an investment. I mean, not everyone's got one at all, because that's a grind to get a Chansey up to its max level. It's not an easy feat. It's not something that everybody out there has done, which begs the question: should it be banned? You know, they banned Pachirisu because not everyone's got one.
Yeah, are they going to ban ban Lickitung now?
Lickitung is different. Lickitung has had many events now, and it's been so PvP relevant for so long that if you've not got a Lickitung that is of a good rank and you've maxed it, then I'm sorry, you've maybe not that into Silph. As Chansey has not been. Chansey, as you said, it's a meme. It's a meme, or it's used by lame GBLers who just want a timeout.
So I was going to say that, you know, with the Chansey pick, I think my main gripe is there will be Chansey users this month looking to time out in Silph, and it just doesn't sit right with me. I get the battle done, you know, just have awesome battles. Don't just sit there using, I don't know, how many seconds are on the clock in a Great League battle or any PvP battle? Is it like 300 seconds or something?
It's 3 minutes in it or something.
I thought it was 5 minutes. I think you were
5 minutes.
Really? Per battle? Oh,
yeah.
Jesus. Wow.
And that's 5 minutes of your life that you're not going to get back.
Yeah, like...
This is from a man who, do you know what? I honestly thought Drew would have all been all over Chansey because it's pink. It reminds him of Fairy, which reminds him of Charm. So he would have loved it. Is it because it's pink and it's not a fairy and it doesn't know Charm that you hate it?
No, so basically, I do have a Chansey ready to go. The XLs are there. I can just push the button at any point just to power it up. But I just won't. It's, you know, it's like all the people that hate Charm, for example, and won't use Charm. I will not use Chansey. It's just, oh, no.
I used to think this about DD. I used to have this same opinion about DD, and I refused to use it. And then I gave in, and then I realized why I refused to use it. I fucking hate it. And I do not enjoy using it.
DD's freaking awesome.
I don't enjoy using it.
I did exactly the same as you. I didn't have one for ages. I got stuffed in one of the betas they had last year that was DD plus 5 others.
Yeah.
Then I got one, used it once, and then it was the extra, the 6th Pokemon for the whole tournament. Just didn't touch it again. I haven't used it since.
I don't enjoy using it. I don't get on with it.
I
don't like it.
Venture was DD, Ninetales, and Lickitung.
That was it.
And
was it not the Quadcast form meta, or am I getting that wrong?
I think you could have used Quadcast form in that, but it was the meta where there was quite a few people that used the same 3, and it became solely dependent on what you got, and if you ran, say, overheat on your Ninetales and things like that, you could hit that overheat, you suddenly won the match because everyone had the same team and it was so condensed.
Because it
was still a better meta than what this is going to end up, by the way.
Yeah.
What was the GBL meta where it was the timeout meta where everyone?
It's probably Kanto Cup. Yeah.
Is it Kanto? Yeah. Oh right.
Yeah.
I think that's why I can't stand Chansey, is because I was at that point when it first came around doing the full 25 battles a day, and when it came to the timeout cup, I'm sitting there going, if I see another Chansey paired with Lickitung and, what else did they put it with?
I ran Nidoqueen lead, Chansey and Lickitung for a bit.
Oh.
I'd probably that's why I've got 3 phones. The other 2 are broken from just.
I can honestly say that there was. I would say that the number of timeouts that I got running that team was less than 1%, less than 0.5% of bats. Mostly because every idiot was running Hypno leads and had no idea what to do when you safe swapped into a Lickitung. I didn't run it for the whole cup actually. I used Lapras for a bit, maybe Dugong as well, and essentially everything bulky.
Yeah.
Everything that had a chance of a timeout. And still didn't see that many.
And people ask me why I don't GBL. You know.
But on Chansey, right? So there is an interesting matchup actually. So Chansey versus Toxie.
Yeah. Chansey wins.
So I've seen a lot of people saying that Toxie is going to be the counter user of choice over Vigor. A lot of people. So Chansey beats Toxie in all shield scenarios, and even wins the 0 to 1 shield scenario.
Chansey beats Toxie.
Yeah, it's 4 times weak to the Zen headbutt.
Yeah. Something's got to be.
Yeah, it even wins in the shield deficit scenario. It also wins all shield scenarios versus the Lickitung, I believe. Including
is a match made in hell.
Including the 0 to 1 deficit. You might want to check that.
I'm just checking it now.
I'm just having nightmares of this coming month already.
So Lickitung, Chansey. Wow, yeah, does lose all shield scenarios and does lose a shield deficit as well. That's and Licky's Licky, you know.
The weird thing is, recently though, I mean, it's obviously not true, but I feel like when I've used Licky in GBL, it just doesn't seem as bulky as it once did. Now I don't know if that's new mons coming into the meta that have, you know, a lot more spam, or what. I remember when Lickitung was like all the rave originally, and it was this like immovable tank.
No, but that's people have adjusted their game to compensate for that. I remember not that long ago when Azu was, oh, if you've got an Azu, you're unbeatable, and now it's like people don't even use it because
I just think the coverage, there's more coverage out there, you know. For example, like Shadow Swampert, you run that with Sludge Wave, it's nearly one shot on an Azu.
Yeah.
And they're not shielding because they presume Earthquake. I mean, so it's all fair game, you know. It's, I guess, down to coverage moves now. It's a lot more.
We are losing track of where we are, though. Have we got any more points on Chansey apart from me, Clyde, and Drew hating it, and Kevin smiling? And
yeah. So one of the Pokemon I think has now been in 8 consecutive Silph metas that is really starting to get boring. Beedrill. Chansey wins all shield scenarios and the deficit.
Now you see, I like a bee.
I used to like a Beedrill.
I like a bee because it didn't get any love for a long time.
I used to like a Beedrill. I used to like Shadow Beedrill a lot, running the move that gives you a buff.
Foul Stinger.
Foul Stinger, yeah. Love it. But it's been in every month for what, since October?
I think with things like Beedrill though, yeah, they're great attackers, but they're not that bulky. So they will not completely dominate a whole match. They might flip a match, but they will not dominate. Whereas your Chansey,
you hate Beedrill because it can beat Garage, let's face it.
I actually quite like using Beedrill. I used it last month, you know.
Yeah, I used to use it quite a lot in GBL, to be fair, as well, just for fun. But I'm really bored of seeing it. Really bored of seeing it. And if Chansey beats it, then hey, I'm okay. It also interestingly beats Dustox, Muck, Grimer, Snorlax, Beware, which we might see a lot of because it's the new Pokemon.
New toy syndrome's always a thing.
Yeah, Tentacruel, Nidorino, Roserade, Raichu, Munchlax. Licky Licky as well as Licky Tongue. So it does have some good wins.
You say them good wins though, but a lot of them ones you've just named are B+ players at best. They're not top.
You clearly don't look at the teams I pick.
But you say like obviously Beware, obviously New Toy Syndrome. I would refer to it as Shit Toy Syndrome.
Well, it is a shit Scrafty. Let's face it. It's
it is. It's
I think it's a
useless
shit Machop.
That's a bit harsh because a shit Machop is actually a Machoke, right?
So unless we've got, have you got another point?
Yeah, one last point. I think it will have play, but you've got to remember it will not win you many points at all. Like if you do win it, I'm aware of that. Like, but I think it has play.
So that's enough on Chansey, and we're going to go over to Clyde and your pick. Do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, I had a look and saw a few things that are always good. So A, Grav, Shadow B, Frostlass, and I thought that's a bit boring. They're always good. And some things that were underrated that I considered. Snorlax is always underrated in the rankings anyway. Venusaur's ranked 75 or something. Venusaur's always good. You look at its worst loss and it's Frostlass, and if you've ever had Frostlass against Venusaur and thought, oh, maybe I'll let one Frenzy Plant go, maybe you don't do that again. Lantern, but yeah, I based my pick, which is number 667, Litleo, on the fact that for the last 2 months we've had Forret and Wormadam just constantly, and I have used them, I'll admit to it, because my only counter that I could seem to find for Forret was Forret. So I was like, well, I'm going to have to use it, but if I can't see him again. If I see him again, I'll probably have to leave Silph indefinitely. So I thought, instead of that, I'm going to find something that has fire and has flame charge, and I'm just going to burn them all. So that my main reasoning here is to just completely destroy those bugs, to the point where hopefully people will start talking and say, if you're up against Clyde, don't bring the bugs because he's going to roast you. Honestly, he's going to bring it every game. He's going to kill you.
I love this statement of, don't bring it, Clive will roast you.
Because this is obviously what happens. There are people worried about facing me in cups. Frostlass, obviously, I used Frostlass in a, I can't remember if it was in GBL or if it was in a Silph meta, but I came up against the Litleo, and that's just a horrible experience. You know, if it's got one flame charge in and it's throwing those little embers at you, then you're just roasting, and there's absolutely nothing you can do. It's beautiful. I absolutely love it. You know, you think, should I throw a Shadow Ball just for the hell of it? It's similar to, what was it in Guardian? Vigoroth against the tree, the ghost tree.
Trev. Yeah.
No, not Trev. The other one.
Oh, Punkaboo. The pumpkin thing.
Oh, yeah, the pumpkin one. Yeah, Gorgeist, that's the one. I honestly, I struggle so much remembering more than 10 names at any one time. The Litleo's replaced Gorgeist. I've forgotten that one now. But yeah, you could find yourself with Vig against that and that hopeless feeling. I'm really hoping to give some Frostlass users that hopeless feeling. But yeah, there are a few bugs that I think will be meta relevant. Galv is always around, and rightly so. Galv is a legendary bug. I'm completely with you, Drew. Ariados, I really want to see some. It's my favorite. I love that little bug, but I can't bring it, and I hope someone else does so I can roast it. The issue with this is, the more that I've looked at this, the more that I think that people are going to be bringing 2 counter users, and you've already said it. You know that a lot of people are going to bring Vig, and then a lot of people are going to bring another counter user, whether that's Toxie, whether that's Goon. I think if a lot of people are using Chansey, we'll start to see a lot of Goons. They obviously completely destroy Litleo, which is not ideal. So the issue with being an Ember user is that they've killed you before you even get to a move, which is not ideal. But I'm more than willing to take that risk just to absolutely roast these things that I absolutely can't stand. Yeah.
So you're saying you're willing to go on the rock, paper, scissors train just in case, just so you don't face one of the steel bugs. That's it.
Completely. It's such an RPS pick in this. You know, it does beat Chansey in the ones and the twos. It doesn't beat in the zeros because it doesn't like a hyper beat.
Yeah. I've run it in practice cups with the Chansey. So I was really hoping no one was going to pick Litleo to talk about. Because my God, was it my MVP. It absolutely was. And I had it locked in against Vigoroth in 3 or 4 times. And you would be surprised how much damage it does to a Vigoroth. And they have to shield. You do get to a move. You can take 1 body slam. And they have to shield. I think it's great. I agree with you. But yeah, I wish you hadn't told people about it.
Yeah, I did have that feeling actually. Because my issue with talking about this one is I've never used
Litleo wins the twos, by the way.
Against
Big.
It gets to 2 shield.
If you go in the 2 shield scenario, Litleo wins.
I'm surprised.
I probably should have.
You win
you've
got 11 CP left at the end, but you have got a flame charge off, so your embers are starting to hurt rather than tickle. And you win the 2 shield scenarios. Which is that's nice.
Probably should have known that, but I didn't. But yeah, my my issue with talking about this here was I've never used it. I've seen other people using it, and I liked it because it's this little guy, and he's I don't know, he looks friendly. Well, he looks like a little lion, doesn't he? I think it's quite sweet, like a baby. So, and I've had a rank 1. I've had a rank 1.
His name.
Well, yeah, you could be right, actually. I thought it was an astrology thing. I
don't know. I don't know.
That would be a lion as well. But yeah, anyway, I've had a rank 1 sitting around for ages, and I think even casuals who've only played this game for 20 minutes have got 300 XLs for Litleo because they were just everywhere for months. That's all you could catch around here anyway. So I finally thought, you know what? I'm going to spend 500,000 dust and put this to level 50. And now I'm going to use it. And if it's rubbish, I'm still going to use it because it's 500,000 dust. I haven't got that much. This is a serious investment. And if I only get to roast a couple of bugs this month, I'll come out of it happy. They'll be well roasted. But yeah,
this isn't even ranking points for Clyde. This is just pure vendetta against bugs.
Screw the ranking. I don't care. I just want to kill some steel bugs.
I'll go 0-7 as long as I get to take out 5 Wormadam throughout the month. I'll be fine.
So I picked Litleo as the first Pokemon I put in my team of 6 for all the practice tournaments I've done actually, and I picked it because as soon as I started to look at the meta on PvPoke, I just searched @fire.
Yes.
That was the very first thing I did when I looked at the top 5 Pokemon, was search @fire. And I'm probably not the only person that did that. I followed it very quickly with the words @counter. But that was where my team building started for this cup.
I've had a Litleo for some time. I'm actually toying with the idea of building a new one because the first one isn't a true XL. It's XL, but it's like level 44 or something like that. And I've got a rank 4, which again is, I don't think it's quite 500,000 dust. I think it's like 400,000 to build, and I'm toying with the idea of building it because I've enjoyed it. I built it originally as a meme, not gonna lie. I built it for silly reasons, just because, hey, look at that, oh god, yeah, and it's 1000 CP, why not? I'll just power it up the rest of the way. It's a nice little mon. It is a nice little mon.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be big here. I think it's gonna be a meta pick. I certainly think it'll be more meta picks than Chansey. I think Chansey, because as I touched on earlier, the availability issues and things like that, and people just not having one. Certainly Silph players like me, who are anti-GBL and see GBL as just rock, paper, scissors, and not really kind of like fun, who like a bit more strategy with it, a little bit more thought. So they won't have chances, but most of them will have Litleos, or will have one ready to build because they'll have gone, that's a rank 5, or that's in the top rank 20. You know, they'll have one ready to build. I think it's going to be, again, at fire. I think it's going to be huge here. It picks up some nice little wins. I mean, looking at the core meta, in the one shields, it picks up 61%. But out of them wins that it does pick up, the nice wins that it does get. Yes, double counter is a thing. The majority teams will have double counter. I know Drew said teams with one counter on it, but user on it, but every team build I've sort of looked at has 2. And I just think you'll see lots of Toxie stroke big teams, or Toxie stroke Obstagoon teams. I think that'll be a running course throughout the meta. So maybe, I don't know, that's just my initial thoughts on the meta straight away off the top of my head was double counter.
It has a fun matchup against one of the other fighters, which I think we'll come on to in a bit. The simultaneous knockout. I'm hoping to experience that at least once this month. So, but yeah, maybe the rank 1 will get me through that.
I'm not going to touch on that, but I think that depends on what rank your Litleo is as well.
It does.
If you run the rank 86, you win that matchup. If you're talking about what I think you are,
it's the Heracross match.
If you have the higher attack stat, you actually you get a breakpoint on the Ember damage, I think, because I've played that matchup last week, and
I think European players as well don't tend to have a good Heracross. I think most European players are playing with whatever Heracross they've got. Certainly, I think. I mean, I'm not personally. I've got. It's not brilliant. It's okay. It's good enough. But most people are playing with the ones they got from GoFest, so they're usually not PvP IBs. If they are, you're lucky, you know, because it's more a drop of a hat what IBs you got for that.
I say I haven't looked at whether there is actually a breakpoint for it, or whether it is literally just that I was facing pretty bad Heracrosses with a reasonable, I think it's got 4 attack, my Litleo. Maybe 6 attack, I don't know. It's not particularly well ranked, but
I think 4 is the rank 1, isn't it?
It might be 6 then.
Something around there.
Yeah,
I could find out.
Yeah, I could just even
I could just flex with it and find out.
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just loading up my rank 1.
You got rank 1.
Look at all these rank 1.
And this is the thing. Have people all got the rank 1 Litleo? And are they going into this Heracross match thinking they are going to be simultaneously KOing? And actually, they're not. They're going to be losing. So I have a rank 4 and a rank 12 Litleo. And my rank 12 is 4 attack, but 14. So it's 4, 14.
So 4, 15.
But that's going to cost me 400 dust to charge up.
And then another 50 for the second move.
No, Litleo is 10, I think.
Is it?
I think so.
I literally did it like 2 or 3 days ago, so I can't tell.
My rank 4 is 4,
Yeah, you're right.
15, 14.
Yeah. Right.
Mine is 6, 13, 14. The one that I've been using in practice, the Litleo.
Saying that, the one I have got powered up is a rank 553. And that is 15, 14, 14.
It would give up too much bulk though, would it, in terms of levels, I guess?
Well, I'm just going to tell you what level that gets to because it's quite high, to be
I
honest.
bet it's 43.5. That's my guess.
I don't know, looking at the line, I think it's about 40. It's 44.5.
Oh, it's only one level out. That ain't bad.
I don't know, it's pretty shit, man.
Cheers, mate.
I like the fact that we all just gone and checked. I've all got a bit quiet, checked our Litleo. So
well, actually, I had a Chansey spawn at the house, so I had to catch the Chansey.
So that's actually a fair point with your Chansey thing. In terms of availability, they're all around the place at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, they have been anyway, haven't they?
You've also got to remember we just had that 2K egg event with half hatch egg distance. Was it
with Happening, yeah.
With Happening, and I hatched a few, and I think I was averaging 3 to 4 XL per hatch. So, I mean, if you get a good ratio of Hapini coming from those eggs, you could have easily racked up 100 XL during that event.
I'm going to check how much chance. Because I have got a hundo Chansey.
I think you need to best buddy it though, don't you, to make it 1480. 1418 CP? 1418?
Yeah, I've got 85 XL, so I'm never doing it.
That's because you're not a degenerate, Dan.
It is because I'm not a degenerate. I'm also a bit of an old fuddy-duddy, and yeah, some months. I mean, I've only just built a Toxicroak. I've had one for Ultra League for a good couple of years, but I've only literally this month built a Toxicroak for Great League.
I think that's again though that's the great thing about Silph as well. Everyone has their own play styles. Everyone has their favourite mons they like to use, and when certain players clash, there could be different 4, 5, 6 mons in some cases, and it's watching those kind of teams clash and those play styles clash, and that's what makes Silph great. Whereas you whack a Chansey in GBL, you want to stab your eyes out. If you're facing it, Kev's loving life. He's just like, yeah, I've just burned through the hours in the day. But I can't believe you just got a Toxicroak, Dan. I thought Toxie would be your kind of mon.
No, not my type of mod. I'm a person who's got a maxed out Pikachu Libre and a maxed out Chespin. Toxicroak ain't on my list, mate. It's just not even. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Do you know what? I have lied in tournaments before and baited that I've had one.
What, a Chansey?
No, Toxicroak. I've gone into tournaments where it's been in my 6 and I've not had it. I've done that a couple of times. I've done that with in season 2. I did it with Cresselia on a couple of occasions where I didn't have a Great League Cresselia, but I went into it with one in my 6 just for the psychological effect of people thinking he's going to bring Crest. Sort of like what Kev was saying before about Chansey.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard anyone actually say they've done that. I've done it by accident a couple of times where I've picked things that I don't have. I have no idea why.
I know loads of people who've done it.
That sounds like a Jamie Gunn kind of move as well.
I know Jamie's a psycho. Jamie just does it. He actually just does it. You know what I mean? You're like, no way is he coming in here with that, and then bush. It's like wash rotom, and you're like, what? Why have you got one? You're like, bored, mate. Built one.
Yeah, that sounds like Jamie. That sounds like Jamie a lot.
Yeah.
So I've just been having a play on PV Poop there with the Litleo Heracross. There is a breakpoint on Ember. Go and find it for yourselves, people. Work out how to use PV Poop. Or just scroll down now to the bit where it tells you what the breakpoint is, because he's done the work for you. But the other thing is, it depends what moveset it's running. So if you if you're running the rank 1 Litleo and the Heracross is running counter close combat Megahorn, and the way that PV Poke haven't done the sandbox mode to optimize move timing, blah 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 blah, but Litleo wins it in PV Poke's default.
Why would you run Heracross here with Megahorn?
Every one of the 6 I've seen so far has been running Megahorn.
I think that's because they forgot to TM.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably, but you start the tournament with Megahorn because you forget to change it. You're playing the whole tournament with Megahorn.
I freaking hate that. Absolutely. Sorry, I did that. I don't know if it was last month or the month before.
I've done it. I've done
and
it.
people are like, why do you use that move? And you're like, yeah, I didn't TM. And I'm in 3 tournaments using the same team because they all started on the bloody 8th of the month, and I'm stuck with it now.
Yeah,
all 7 rounds.
I forfeited a battle in one of mine because I ran it with I ran a Shadow Poliwrath with one moveset in one cup, ran it with a different moveset in another cup, and forgot to TM it back before the next battle in the first cup. So I was expecting to have Scold and Dynamic Punch available or whatever it was. Didn't have the moves that I was expecting.
Now, though, but technically that's not allowed.
I forfeited the match.
No, technically you're not allowed to TM at all, your mon, during the tournament.
What?
Yeah,
your mon. If you enter a tournament, even if you TM it back, you're not meant to TM it at all.
So
while
what
that
you're meant
mon
to
is
have
locked.
is, for example, 2 Shadow Poliwrath from different movesets, 2 vanilla
12
Poliwrath.
Hypnos.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
God, Cal's having thrills right now. Hypno, Cocknose everywhere.
But no, honestly, if you actually dig down into the Silph rules, and I'm not trying to be all judgy or anything like that or anything, because I think it's unreasonable, but the rules state you have to use. It's not like, so me, Drew, and Clyde are in Gym Breakers for Team England, and in Gym Breakers you can TM. In Silph, you're not allowed to, and you are meant to not TM at all that month.
So what they actually do in Continentals is, when you enter Continentals, obviously, in our case, the best in Europe who have won regionals, plus high-ranked players go into comps, and you actually, I'm trying to think, last year, did they do it? But definitely regional wildcards, when I made my kind of debut in season 2, you actually had to submit a screenshot of your inventory with your TMs and how many you had in there. And if that was they could randomly message you, say round 4, and be like, right, show us how many TMs you've got. And if your TMs have dropped, they'll just kick you from the tournament.
What stops you doing a 3-star raid and using one that you just won?
Well, what they would say is, obviously, if you were to do a raid and you get one, it'd go up. Yeah, like if you're doing continentals or regionals, you're focused on that tournament. Raids ain't coming into it.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right. And the only reason I bring it up and say it was just because you'd said it, and I knew you weren't aware of that rule.
I mean,
and actually, fair play to you. You held your hands up and went like, "Oh shit, sorry, mate, I've done the wrong thing." And good on you for doing that. That's the honourable thing to do.
It's a bit of a stupid rule though, because how many Shadow Poliwrath do you have ready to use? Like you don't have 4 with 4 different movesets.
I have 3, 1 for Ultra and 2 for Great at the moment.
Okay, yeah, well, yeah, I've got 1 Ultra and 1 Great. I can't use the Ultra one in Silph because they don't.
Obvious reasons,
yeah. So if I want to use it in 2 different tournaments, but I want it to cover different things, apparently I can't do that.
Nope.
I mean, as long as I'm running it with the same
you've got to
moveset.
remember, Silph was designed around in-person live tournaments. It wasn't designed around remotes.
Yeah.
Remotes are a thing of lockdown, and I know for you personally, you're a lockdown baby. You brought into the community through this kind of like.
I didn't do any PvP before lockdown. Didn't even know what it was. There was a battle option or something.
Okay, so back off our tangent and back on Litleo.
We need a big edit there. Like just...
I don't know. I'm full on leaving tangents in me. I'm like, yeah, sod it. You know what I mean? We've had Kev talking for 45 minutes on, Chansey. Why not?
Was it that long? I must have zoned out for a while.
It was, yeah. It was 45 minutes.
Just glazed, like thinking of chances. Yeah.
Now
Now
we can't edit it.
I don't know what else there is to say about Litleo. I think it's going to be mega strong, and I've loved using it in practice cups so far.
True.
I think it goes back to the whole PV poke searcher at fire. If I'm being honest, there's obviously Litleo. Pyroar, I don't think we're going to see. I mean, maybe people take that budget option, but I think there are other better options than Pyroar. The main one that most people have now is Roserade. However, will get eaten alive by Confusion. And the other one, which I haven't really looked at, and I'm going to at some point when I actually decide to look at this meta, and that is Stuntank.
So you've missed the one that I was looking at.
Probably.
The other one.
Probably missed the glaringly obvious, but...
I was looking at Electivire.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just think, Thunder Punch, Wild Charge, or Ice Punch, Wild Charge, whatever that thing rocks nowadays.
Yeah, it's Thunderminch and...
Thunderminch?
Yeah, it's got Thunderminch, doesn't it? I think that's the name of the move. I've got an Electivire, with both punches with ice and flamethrower, and it is a nice little surprise for things who don't expect it. Things think, oh, I can tank that, and then suddenly it's a flamethrower, and it's like, whoa, I couldn't tank that. So I do think that. I looked at Zeb Striker because I thought that was a nice little mon, just because again, you've got flame charge, you get a flame charge off, and then you get a wild charge. Jesus Christ, that's a big hit.
I used that striker before, and yeah, it's like the the reversal of Chansey. It takes like 2 taps and it's dead.
It is. What meta was it? I used it in Silph a few months ago.
Oh God.
So it was a pick in a recent Silph tournament, and
I think with Zeb Striker, it's always there on the rankings. It's just normally like 200 odd because it's just generally that shit.
Yeah, this tells you where I look for my Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean it's number 37 in the rankings currently.
But to be honest, the guy who reps it the most is the guy who writes the nifty or thrifty articles, and if he's the one who made this cup, I'm surprised it hasn't been chopped down so that it's number 1, so that everyone finally uses it.
It does feel like they've tried to make certain things more relevant this cup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Not really cheap things though, is it? Like, it's not really a budget cup.
No, and maybe he's trying to, get away from his monocle, so to speak.
But yeah, there are. So what we're saying is there are alternatives to Litleo. Would you want to run any of them over Litleo? Don't know. That's up to the viewers, I guess.
I think if it's a budget thing, maybe, but possibly, I think just go out and build one, have some fun. Go build a lucky one, have some fun with it.
Yeah.
IVs don't matter until they matter. And when they do matter, they really, 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 really do matter. So, yeah.
Yeah, who was it? I was watching, I can't remember who it was. I was watching a stream this week, very recently, where it was like they won by 1 HP in GBL, and someone in the chat was like, oh, this is when IVs matter. And it set off like a half-hour rant about how IVs don't matter. If it's coming down to those little tiny things, then it's actually the skill of you making the right decisions and timing your moves and switching right and making calls on bait. And it's like, oh, fuck off, IVs matter. Mate.
You find a lot of people in these. You find a lot of the people in these Twitch streams though talk a good game, but actually haven't got a Scooby-Doo what they're on about. So
I'm not saying anything.
You know, I sit here on chatting shit quite regularly and just chat utter bollocks that nobody ever thinks, what the fuck's he on? But yeah,
I was wondering.
Yeah, well, I haven't started to talk about my pick yet.
Yeah. So we're going to move on to my pick. So now we're going to talk about my pick, and my pick is the single-horned Pokemon, and that is Pokédex number 214. That is Heracross. We touched on it earlier with the Litleo match, what Heracross can potentially do in this, and maybe it's limited availability. I think by now most Silph players will have had a Heracross. It's had a couple of metas where it's been very big. Wasn't that long ago it got Rock Blast, is it? Or Rock 2? Rock Blast, which I think has changed the dynamic, even though it's not a stab move. And I do think you have to let go of the stab moves to incorporate that. I do think it has a nice little place in the meta. To talk about it in numbers, because I always try and talk about it in numbers, in the zeros it wins 53%, so not the biggest, but it's still, you know, it's above 50, so it's above halfway. 58 in the ones and 50 dead in the twos. If you add 4 counters to that, you three counters, you massively improve that. So it's certainly one that if you've got a lead, you can certainly flip some quite nice matches up. So it is definitely worth thinking about. Things it beats what you'd sort of expect it to be, really. It's beating your Vigs, it's beating your Lickies, your Gravelers, your Wormy Teas, your Magnazones. You can flip Toxie quite easily in that as well. I think in the one shield you get a victory over Toxie. But again, it's the way I look at Heracross is close combat, to be honest, is having a couple of extra counters on there and going into the zeros. For all I said, it only wins 53%. You're winning in the main meta, you're winning 21 and losing 14. And if you add that 3 counters in, you drop that 14 down to 10. And yeah, there's not much in that 10. You start going into obscure things like Golbat and stuff like that, which no one's really running. Sorry, I say that because that was Drew's pick an hour before we started doing this, was Golbat, and he's not picking that no more because, even though it does beat Heracross quite convincingly, but nothing really wants to take a close combat to the face. And if you're lucky enough to have 2 back-to-back, you have made yourself a very, very dangerous proposition to deal with. We spoke earlier about it being a double count cup. Now, I can see Heracross's place with maybe Obstagoon, because you're getting a nice lot of coverage there between the two of them and covering the different weaknesses that they have. I don't necessarily see it being paired with Toxicroak, although I think Toxicroak is very good and probably will be the most used counter user next to Vig. I think Vig Toxie will be the main 2 for counter users, but I don't believe Chansey will be a big thing. So what do I know? Do you know what I mean? Kev's already just pointed it out. Everyone's going out there now, powering up chances and stuff like that, going crazy. It does lose to a lot, Heracross. Do you know what I mean? You are losing to Luxray. You are losing to Frostlass. I thought Frostlass would be big. Now I've played a practice tournament, I don't think it'll be big. I think Litleo will be big, which means that Frostlass won't, because you do not want to go into that match. Which again frees up Heracross again. I think having as I said, a Goon, Litleo, and a Heracross as like a core to build around, then you can add things in like Magnazone, which hit heavy nukes. So go for spam, go for nukes, go for coverage, sort of in a team build kind of aspect. So that's why I'm thinking Heracross. Plus, it looks cool. Let's face it, out of the fighters, it probably looks, Vig looks like it's got a cock on its head. Goon looks like Gene Simmons, and what the fuck is Toxicroak? Let's face it, it's weird looking. So Heracross definitely looks like a badass. So that's my choice on Heracross. I kind of that really quick, but has anyone got thoughts, Clyde?
Yeah. I only got one fairly recently. Everyone I know who goes to the States who has Pokemon, they'll come back and they've got one, and I'm just messaging the local Discord, give it to me. And I finally got one that wasn't 1500. It's not very good, but every time I look at it, I just get flashbacks to Luna, and doing Luna without a Heracross, and as someone who on principle refuses to use Mandibird, Luna is the worst thing I've ever done. You know, I've broken bones before that were more pleasant for me than Luna was, and every time I look at Heracross, it's all I can think of, and it does look cool, and that's all I can say for it, really. I'm not looking forward to meeting them, because every time I've met them before, I've lost, and I've lost badly, and I've wanted to quit the game or smash the phone or something like that. So maybe we'll get more of that this month. I hope you're wrong about Frostlass. I really want Frostlass to come, and yeah, I think you do as well now. Yeah.
Let me guess, you want to roast it?
Yeah, and I want to let Dan throw rocks at it as well, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up Luna was by far the best Silph Cup I've met, like the one that I've enjoyed the most, I think, since I started playing Silph. I love that cup. So Heracross, I think, is interesting. So with Litleo, so of all the practice battles that I've won, like total battles, Litleo has featured in 94% of them, and Heracross in 86 so far. Just individual battles that I've won for these practices. So I think they're a fantastic core to go together.
No pressure, Drew, but we're all agreeing that our 3 picks so far are really good and they work well together. If your pick doesn't work well with our 3, then you're the odd one out, mate.
Oh, fine. I'm cool with
it. Yeah, I just think there's got to be fighters in here, so you might as well have the versatility. I know out of the fighters, we've talked about Litleo, it's probably the one that doesn't want to see Litleo the most. But it's about the coverage against the other stuff, and you do have that coverage in moves with, as we talked about before, Megahorn maybe could be utilised. It's not something I'd choose, but yeah. But Kev, you're going to say something. You look like you had like a really big point to say.
You'd say it's the one that wants to avoid Litleo the most, but I mean, using average IV on PV poke, right? You get the simultaneous KO. Litleo beats Vig in the 2 shields there, where Heracross gets the simultaneous KO.
Yeah.
Because I think if you're looking at any counter user, the way that I would look at that is if it's close and I'm against the counter user, I'm going to lose because they're going to sneak at least 50% of the charge moves. They're going to sneak a counter in. There's probably 2 moves in the game that I just assume that they're going to sneak. One of them's counter, and the other one is bullet seed. I just cannot seem to stop them from sneaking. So I think you can't count on those close battles. I don't think. I think when we're looking at this, Heracross is going to beat Litleo.
Yeah. Yeah. You can add Hex and Charm to that list of
Hex. Hex is a bad
to deny as well.
I just hate it when somebody sneaks through a Dragon Tail and you're like, why? Sorry.
Why did you let them sneak? Why would you give them so many free turns of energy, Dan? Like,
do you know why? Because I got kids and they're really freaking annoying and they make noise while I'm playing and you lose a bit of concentration. And that's why I always try and do my Silph battles after 8 o'clock at night when they're in freaking bed.
Or lunchtime. I think I've only ever battled you at lunchtime.
Yeah, but like it's lunchtime's a weird time for me. I mean, I'm having to like book out a meeting room at work or something and going, I'm just gonna go on this call. I'm gonna go on this call and just take the meeting room and go on a call. All right, guys, you carry on working. Carry on working.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go in here and and then they hear me go on, you fucker. Really serious meeting. Really serious.
Yeah. I know if I do it at lunchtime, I normally just do it in a public space, like in a cafe or sat in a park. Or,
Yeah, I work on a hill in Scotland. There is nothing around me. Literally, you could walk for half an hour and there is nothing there. But then again, I set fire to things, so
that's not true.
Well,
There is a
can
hill
appreciate
around
that.
There is a hill. Yeah, I suppose there is a hill with no signal.
Yeah. We've digressed. We have digressed.
We have digressed, and we said we were going to be more poignant for this pick.
I know.
More. So when I said the 10 that he loses to, so they're Golbat, Noctowl, Gengar, Frostlass, Aridos, Toxicroak, Wormadam, Lantern, and Oranguru. Everything else in the zeros, if you've got 3 counters head start, you're beating.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know it's if you've got 3 counters, but that's 3 counters is not hard, as Clyde just said.
You don't need a 3 counter head start sometimes. You only need 1 counter head start because you're going to sneak the others.
Exactly.
So there are Americans watching this going, what's a sneak? What are you talking about?
What? Denies and sneaks. It's like you throw a move and the game stops. It's like you do some bubbles and the game starts.
Yeah, but they think they're still playing Rocket Stops, you know, where you get that pause. And you can come in. Is that what they're talking about? The pause and the Rocket Stops.
Well, that was supposed to be the training, right, for the introduction for battling, for PvP. Like, they introduced that just before. It's like, so yeah, that's what the Americans, it just hasn't digressed. It's like, yeah, you throw a charge move, you wait 2 seconds for them to start doing something. I've seen it every day.
Yeah, Drew,
enough of that.
Have you got anything on Heracross? We've just caught you completely by surprise there, haven't we?
Yeah, sorry, Lindsay rocked up asking for a charger because she decided to rock mine and I leave it downstairs. No, I think Heracross is great in terms of coverage. I don't think you run Megahorn here. I'm struggling to think why you run Megahorn, but I've not looked at the meta because I think the meta's crap. But that's another story. I think you said you wouldn't pair Heracross with Toxie. I agree with that. Would you do Heravig?
Potentially, you could do Heravig.
Or do you prefer the Heragoon?
I prefer Heragoon personally.
Sounds like an absolute hangover killer, not Heragoon. I
think Goon's got a lot of play here, to be honest. I think it's sort of... Yeah. It's
the one that's 4 times weak to counter, but it's, I think I mentioned it earlier, it's about the coverages that, you know, Goon, for example, brings versus outside of the other counter users. That separates it. I do like Heracross though. I'm guessing you're running Rock Blast, close combat. I mean,
Lindsay really threw you because you've just repeated everything we've just said, really. You've just like literally gone round and repeated everything we've just said and then gone,
I didn't even have my headphones. I didn't have my headphones on. I was like that. And I was like, so I've done pretty well. I've just summarised what you've been talking about in 2 seconds. It's all good.
You've done it really well as well, I have to say.
But the Heracross, I know you guys touched on Luna, and you know, if you go back to watching Chat and Shit, I actually appeared in that episode where Heracross was picked. So, you know, chat shit about. And I did say availability. Now, I know we've had a bit more availability to Heracross, but do people want to spend dust on a shit IV Heracross for the sake of having Heracross?
Yes.
Or okay, I'm you know, I'm neither here or there on it. You know what I mean? I've got an okay one. Do I ever use it? I haven't touched it since Lunar. I mean, I still think availability does come into it slightly. But it's going to be good. People who use it and know how to use Heracross will have a lot of success with it this month for sure. But
I like
yeah.
it. I prefer it in Ultra League in Open GBL, to be honest, but I love it in Silph Cups. I think I wouldn't pair it with Toxie. I would pair it with Big and Litleo and Chansey.
Well, actually, while we're talking about counter users, and we've mentioned Litleo, there is a player that we all know. I won't name names because it's probably going to be a strap for the month. But he has said to me already this meta double counter Litleo. I don't know what counter users he's been using, to be fair. And I've said to him, because he's like, "Oh, this meta looks great," and I'm like, how can you call it a great meta when 2 minutes into the meta, the month hasn't even gone live, and you're telling me 3 Mons are going to dominate?
Yeah. So
that just tells me RPS.
I don't know who that was telling you that, but again, in all the battles that I've completed so far, Litleo double counter has won 71% of the times that I've used that combination.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Since I've been told that, the first thing I did was jump straight on PV Poke, whack the 3 of them in Team Builder, and seeing which Mons beat all 3. And there's actually 4.
Ooh.
I've not done the individual breakdowns on how close the matchups are. I just saw the little circle and I was happy. One of them is Tentacruel. Again, you've got Galvas knocking about, you've got Wormadams.
You've got Chanseys.
Does it beat you? Oh gosh, and a headbutt, yeah. Oh.
Chansey beats Tentacruel.
Yeah, but again, Tentacruel, I know we're going off on a massive tangent again. Tentacruel, I consider it very much a bait mon. You've got the acid spray and hydro pump. You know what I mean? It's just one of those mons. You make the wrong move, you're going to look like an absolute dick.
Yeah. No one wants to be that dick. Actually, right? I'm gonna briefly just Tentacruel. It needs a move update, Niantic. It needs Surf or Weatherball Water.
Oh, Weatherball Water would make it OP, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say Weatherball Water would make it a bit kind of like.
Because Tentacruel is actually very bulky, as I found out last month.
But Tentacruel, its function's not a water mon, though, is it? Its function's poison mon.
Yeah.
That's its main.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just look at it because of the poison jab and things like that. That's where I see it being placed here.
But yeah, it was just going back to the whole double counter. I mean, people are telling me little bits of what they've picked up in their practices. And I mean, I've done the odd battle. I've not done any practice tournaments, which is rare for me. And I'm just kind of like, I just cannot get excited for this meta. I mean, I think the fact that I've come up with the spiciest pick for this episode. I mean, I'm normally the meta bitch.
You are normally the meta bitch. That is like your role.
I don't know what's happened.
This is a meta where if you go on PB Poke and see who the best attacker is, it's Chansey. Chansey. Yeah. And I think
every time you say Chansey, I just get a shudder.
And I think I've said it to you all privately. Any meta where PvP Steve doesn't introduce the meta speaks volumes. It really does. I mean, Steve probably loves, in fact, he does love Silph more than I do, which is, I love Silph more than I love my children. And they know that, so that's fine. I say that because one of my children's just walked in, he's been out shopping with his mother, so hopefully he heard me. Yeah, and he's not introducing this meta, which says actually it's rubbish, because if it was really good, he'd be introducing it. He'd be like, yes, he'd do a little video of it with him, boxing a Heracross or dodging a Litleo or something like that, or kissing a Chansey. I don't know.
Oh.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we are bashing it a bit, and maybe rightly so, because it's not enthralling. When I looked at it, like I say, I went straight to like at fire, at counter, like knew what I was wanting to do straight away, because I was looking at it thinking, I'm bored of seeing these Pokemon. But there will be people that love this, that have hated some of the other metas that we found interesting. So perhaps there is an element maybe of fair play. They've flipped it around, switched it around, and other people will now enjoy it. And it might get other people interested again.
Those other people are wrong.
I'm not going to argue with that.
That's all.
I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not going to argue with that at all. I can't. But it's just like there will be people that enjoy it. Like people enjoy using Chansey, right, in GVR. I used it, and did I enjoy using Chansey? Yeah, a little bit, because it seemed to piss everybody off.
Absolutely.
No, but
yes.
I was going to say that's more about you being, buying a door furniture than anything else, really, So
making friends everywhere I go.
But we've gone back onto Chansey when we were talking about Heracross. If we've got nothing else on Heracross to say, we will pass over to Drew and his pick.
So my pick is the Sage Pokemon, Pokedex number 765, and that is Oranguru.
Oranguru.
Is that pronounced correct, or have I massacred it?
I think it's Oranguru.
Every time I see Oranguru, I don't know how old everyone is out there, but Powerpuff Girls, Mojo Jojo, the monkey in the cartoon. That's what I think. It's just going to be called Mojo Jojo as far as I'm concerned.
I think of Dr. Zaius from Planet of the Apes, but maybe that's my age. So.
There is that as well, yeah. But yeah, Mojo Jojo. Against the core meta, apparently it's 36 mons. Bullshit, it's about 8. In the zeros, it's got 19 wins, 52% win rate. The ones, it's got 15 wins, 41%. Twos, it's got 17 at 47%. Pretty average, piss poor numbers. I mean, nothing. I mean, I'm normally repping golf 60-70% win rate. This is awful. Why am I chatting shit about a shit mon? I mean, it's not a shit mon. If you take that to a 1 shield advantage, so you have 1 shield, the opponent with 0, your win rate goes up to 89%. I was too lazy. I didn't write down the correct number. Shame we've not got Phil or Holmesy for stats and numbers and maths, but if you've got 2 shields, the opponent's got 1. How much of the core meta, so of those 36 Pokemon, do you think you pick up?
94.
Get off PV Poke. In fact, I actually loses to 2 mons.
Goon and Clyde's favourite, Fortress.
Oh, Fortress, yeah.
Did you just spit then, Clyde?
Yeah, it's just the name, honestly. I'm looking forward to this cup just for RPS. So I could. Anyway, sorry.
Oh dear. But yeah, like a 94% win rate in a 2-to-1s. I know that's not against the whole meta. It's obviously the compact condensed meta of the already condensed meta. But that's a phenomenal win rate. I mean, Dan, you've been doing chat and shit for a long time. Have you seen a 94% win rate, even at a shield advantage?
Possibly, yeah.
But nothing screams out, does it?
No, I mean, you are at a shield advantage, and it's most things. If you, and I think I've said it before in previous chatting shits. I think I've roasted Phil Billy Jimbob once for it, when he was like, "No, but you've got no shields. I've got the shields," because he was going on about having a 2-shield advantage, and I was like, "But this is when he took up Magnezone." And it funny I say Magnezone because that absolutely laughs, similarly as it does to Chansey. It laughs at Oranguru. I mean, it's probably one of the reasons why Magnezone is top of the list is because Mons like that. It absolutely laughs in their face.
I don't think Magnezone's ever laughed at anything. It was like a miserable bastard.
You say miserable, I say angry.
Yeah. The thing is, obviously, when I came to picking my Mon, obviously, as we discussed earlier, I was going to pick Golbat. But you've got Wormadam, you've got Oranguru. There are probably other confusion users that my brain is just too tired to think of right now. And they ripped through Golbat, and I was like, what the hell have I done here? You've got Galvantula, you've got electric types. There's going to be ice coverage that's going to hit, Golbat as well. So that was a stupid pick. So yeah, I decided to go for Oranguru. It's murdering Toxicroak, Beedrill, Lickitung, Frostlass, Roserade. I mean, I think we'll probably see all 5 of those at some point this month.
Do you think you'll see Roserades?
I think it got chucked into my first 6. It got removed, but it got chucked in initially. Because I think with Roserade, even though again in the Wormy team matchup you're getting murdered by the confusion damage, you are still getting a weather ball off. Depending on scenarios, that could be critical. Again, it's always nice to have a Mon that, even though you're in such a horrific matchup,
I mean, the confusions of Wormy Tea are not the big confusions like they are off Oranguru or an actually pure psychic type. You're not getting that stab coverage.
Yeah, but I mean, Oranguru is gonna rip through your Beedrills, your Roserades, your Toxies. And if we're going back to the whole, Heracross, what would you pair it with? You wouldn't pair it with Toxie. Do you start seeing Toxie Vig and say Doom Hera, as the 2 pairs? Okay, if we say Heracross hasn't got the most availability, so most people are going Toxie Vig, happy days. I think Oranguru does actually lose to Vig in the 1s. It's very close though.
So Vig's got 39% energy left and is energy dry as far as Oranguru loses to Vig in all shields.
Oh, that's alright, that's fine.
But no one's going to pick Vig. No one's picking Vig, are they?
Yeah, everyone's going to pick Vig because they're dicks.
I think Vig is overranked, and I don't expect to see as many as we think we will. I like the Oranguru pick. I haven't used it.
I've not even built one yet.
No, I haven't built one either. So I think there's 12 different species of Pokemon that get confusion, and it's the second highest ranking confusion user in the
Cup.
Is it?
After Big Wormy.
Yeah.
Because Wormy's what, rank 5 overall, I think?
Rank 3, rank 3rd overall. Your Oranguru is 73rd, 70 places lower.
Yep, 73rd. I've got that wrote down my
yeah, it is.
You mean you did some research? You
actually did some research. I was eating some salmon fried chicken, stuffing my face with salmon fried chicken while doing PV Pokesims. But what I also did do was I actually put Psychic. What I should have said actually, those percentages were with Dark Pulse, Foul Play, and Future Sight. So I changed it for Psychic instead of Future Sight. In the zeros, you drop a win. No idea what it is. Shit meta. Couldn't bother to look. In the 1s, you keep the same amount of wins, 15. A win. So it's kind of like you drop one from the zeros, you pick it up in the 2s. Is it the same one we're talking about? Who knows? No idea. Oranguru's going to be there. It's only taking neutral. Am I right in thinking, Dan? You can answer this because I ain't got a Scooby. It's only taking neutral damage from counter because of its normal psychic typing.
Yeah, it's only taking neutral. It's not taking.
It's not taking.
Yeah, super effective damage because you've got the psychic typing, which is balancing out the normal.
God, I'm like a right scrub, aren't I? They'd be like, oh, he does it even though his typing.
My wife's just brought me a gin. Sorry.
Oh. This is over in 10 minutes anyway. Dan's gonna be wrecked.
Yeah, I guess you're only worried about bug and dark types. There's not going to be any bugs around, is there?
Valve.
I was looking at, is it Ladian?
Oh, see, I actually was going to pick
Lydian. I was looking at Lydian the other day, and I was thinking, actually, do you know what? You only need 3 mons for this cup because there's only 8 mons available. Why not throw in a few bits of spice? And that was one I looked at because I've got a ranked one, and yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And it's got some nice little wins actually.
Yeah.
I built it for a factions cup, factions meta.
100% I'll be using it on Spice Night. 100%.
Have you built it?
Yes, 100. Yeah.
Oh man, what a waste of 650,000 dust.
No, I've used it loads. I mean, and that is just
awful.
waiting. It is literally just waiting to get counter or superpower or something like that. Niantic, make it happen. Give it a fighting move. It's gonna crush stuff.
When it gets counter, it's gonna be broken.
Oh yeah, when it gets counter, I'll start using. At the minute, it's a £650,000 investment that like never sees daylight. It's just sat there.
Oh mate, build it.
I've built it. I used it. I used it for factions. Did I use it in the end, or did I not bring it? I can't remember. I've used it in a couple of the GBL as well, and I've not enjoyed it. I don't know if I did bring it to factions.
It's
yeah.
Unlike some of the other bugs that are out there, it doesn't carry the same types of weaknesses, and it has that flying ability, which makes it quite nice. And yeah, I like it. I think it's good.
Probably means it's shit then.
Clyde, you've been quiet. Are you okay?
I was thinking about building my Ledian.
Get on it, lad.
Yeah. I was just thinking I want Clyde's Litleo to run rampant and scare off all the bugs and let my Oranguru run riot in turn.
Well, no, I was thinking about pairing those two together. See, like, what my massive RPS plan, which is just lead Litleo every game and hope that they've got either ice or a bug.
Literally.
The flaw in this plan is if they don't have an ice or a bug. So if that happens, then you're fucked. So in that situation, you need something to kill whatever they've left. So this is where I figure things like I'm making a point here, like things like Roserade and Mojo, yeah, that's the one. They're going to be good pivots because you can just chuck 2 shields at them and just try and grind them down. Chansey would be a good one as well, but I'm not doing it. You know.
You've already spent all your dust on Litleo.
Well, no, I'm almost there for a Ledian. Well, no, I'm not. Oh no, because I did spend it all. Oh.
Clyde, bear to remind you, we'll probably be in Kent together at the start of next month, and you just told me your strat.
Well, you try and beat it then. You know, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Is it a bluff? It could be a bluff. If anyone's watching, it's a bluff. I'm not doing that.
Ooh. Sorry, my wife's brought me donuts as well. I've got gin and donuts. My wife is awesome.
What the hell?
Send them my way.
I was about to say Pikachu then, but that's Billy Jim Bob's. About half.
No, as I said, it's Holm on top.
Holm on top.
Holm on top. Coming to the GBL leaderboard near you soon. You wait.
I don't know. What do you guys think about Oranguru? In all seriously, like I picked it just because, yeah, Didn't
I
want to
thought
ruin
it
our
was going to
order.
be big when I first saw the meta, and then I realised how absolutely nailed it gets by Goon, and then thought,
Yes.
no.
Yeah, it does get nailed by Goon, but then I think Goon has a lot of frailties in itself. So I think for anyone mad enough, stupid enough to run a Oranguru, is their pivot, their main one that they want to build around. You've got your things like your Beedrills.
Why
the
pick it
other
over
ones-
Wormy Tea?
What, Oranguru?
Why pick it over Wormy Tea?
Got one for this. How often do you see wild Burmy? My answer is absolutely never ever, outside of events, which are few and far between for Burmy.
Everybody has Wormadam built. Every Silph player has one.
I built mine 2 days ago. I finished walking it off for the XLs. Yes, mine is an absolute XL
You
form.
did just say walking it off, right?
Yeah, walking.
That's all right. I didn't quite hear it right.
So what do you think I said?
The matter, mate. The matter. I did wonder how you were getting those candies back in the game.
I love my Wormy Tea. It's going to get abused this month. Clyde's going to have a field day with it, but it's going to spark joy. And, Oranguru is kind of...
You are a month late for Wormy Tea, I've got to say,
I don't think I'm a month late. I just think I'm jumping on the train at the right time. And I think Oranguru is kind of like the...
Poor man's...
Yeah, not... I think poor man's a bit harsh, but I think it does a similar job, and it's widely available. Everyone should have
it. It's a new toy. It's a new toy.
It's a new toy. It's a readily accessible new toy that does a similar job. If you can't be bothered to walk the hundreds of kilometers it takes to get a Wormadam.
Wormadam's only a kilometer per candy.
Yeah, but there are that few and that sparse that you're going to have to walk, 270 kilometers to get one.
No, just put a puffin down.
135 kilometers.
Well, no, I abuse it.
You know what I mean, mate? You're still walking the distance.
How
many marathons do you run a week?
I'm actually averaging about
one per night, right?
I'm actually averaging about 100k a week at the moment due to work being carnage, but that's another story in itself. But yeah, it's I don't know. Is it a poor man's Wormadam? Probably, but I still think it's going to rock up a fair chunk this month. New toy syndrome, confusion. Go on, Kev.
Which one of the two is the most attractive of the two? The prettiest? The Wormadam or the Oranguru?
Well,
I'm looking at Clyde's face going, it's 38.
I
hate that pink triangle.
It's the Forret that I hate the most. Wormy is like his cousin that I've fallen out with as well because his family.
Hated by proxy.
Yeah.
I mean, am I completely? I'm shot anyway, but everyone's going on about double counter, even maybe triple counter. Why not double confusion teams?
Because the best rank confusion user is rank 3, and then after that it's rank 73.
And they do the same thing.
Ranks mean nothing. We all know that.
And Silph's based around fast, hard-hitting gameplay, not confusion.
Yeah, that's why I'm picking Chansey. The fast.
Yeah. Don't make me to be the degenerate of the month. Kev's got that spot.
I know, you're building this month's Cocknose, and this month's Hypno, and you're calling that a good thing.
Yeah, well, it's a new toy. I mean, you've got to give it a go. As I said, I did very little practice, but I did come up against Oranguru, and yeah, I was I had 2 counter users in my 6. I played like a show 6 format with it. And I actually had Vig and Toxie. And yeah, I decided I'd just run 1 counter user. That counter user happened to be Toxie, and yeah, I lost.
It's a great story, that. It's a great story.
I don't know if I feel sorry for you or if I just should sit here and laugh. Frankly,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna laugh, mate.
Yeah.
What I think it is, I think it's a new toy that is going hard at the minute, but its batteries are going to run out, and they're not Duracells. They're like Lidl's own version batteries, and it's going to have about 3 days of gameplay and then be dead.
That's
It's
all
You
right.
know
never
what?
coming back to
The
life.
thing is, when it's dead as well, when you try and take the batteries out, they've leaked.
Yeah.
And they've got that kind of like staining around them, and you don't wash your hands straight away, and you accidentally put your hand in your mouth and you get that horrible taste. And you're like, that's what it is.
I'm just comforted that Drew's got the same attitude as me. If someone uses something against me and they beat me, I'm fucking building one of those.
Does that mean
use the stuff that I've got for that?
Does that not mean you have every Pokemon built?
No, it just
not
means
everyone beats me.
actually Clyde's really freaking good. That's what he's meaning. Clyde's actually really freaking good. As a fellow Team Englander, I can say he's fantastic.
Yeah, it was actually quite nice not having Clyde in most of my tournaments this month, to be fair.
He has quickly become one of them people that you come up against and you're, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Well, you always beat me, Dan. This is ridiculous.
But
I've
again,
only battled you once, I think.
that comes down to
Yeah, I
quiz
think.
battles. There'll be people
I think you won it a couple of months ago.
Yeah,
Barry?
may have been. Yes, I'm usually in that one.
Everyone's
Yeah, I was
battled
like,
me. I'm a
this guy's got a fucking weird name. Oh
But
shit.
what
he's alright.
But what
Well,
about
yeah,
Jojo?
South Park makes sense.
Talk more about.
You wanted to talk more about your pick, really?
No,
I just thought we'd just get off your pick and talk about something different, just to kind of
Yeah, right.
avoid
I
talking
mean,
about it.
right. We've just talked a lot of shit, right?
Yeah, we
You
really
guys-
A
have.
lot of shit.
Yeah. Like 3 hours
Literally, the team that I've got written down at the end of this, based on everything we've said, is the same 6 that I was planning on running in the first tournament. I haven't changed it.
Did it already have 3 of our picks in it?
Maybe.
Didn't have a
Didn't have a Rangaroo, no.
I'm not telling you
It
which
had
one it
Wormy
didn't have.
Tea.
I'll go back to Galv next month. That's fine. I'll chat shit about Galv again next month.
Yeah,
Galvo
it's still. I mean, yeah, it's a bit different to the team that I've been running in the practices, obviously, and I'm probably going to look at taking a different strategy, given the fact that the strategy that I've been using in all the practices is the one we've just been discussing all the way through, that you RPS with Litleo. Don't think I can do that anymore.
Sorry. Yeah.
It worked so well. But I think-
PvP wanted a video of me where I won 6-1 in a 7-rounder, and that was my strategy for the month. I didn't win a single game after that video.
I played you in round 1 of Flintshire, and I saw the video went up about half an hour before I played Dan. And I was thinking, oh god, and I think I beat Dan 2-1. And then I watched him go through Flint. I watched him go through Jim. And I was like, what's going on? He's gone like 2-5, 3-4, and he's like struggled for the rest of the month because his strategy had just gone out with the video. But
Careful what
So-
you say.
all I'm gonna say is, I'm so glad this isn't the regional month.
Yeah.
I
I don't know. I could be all right with it. Chansey and regionals would shake the world up a little bit.
would actually probably set out regionals. Imagine doing 7 rounds and there's at least 50 people
Hold on a minute.
on Chansey.
You do regionals, and there's about 2 people in your region.
Oi, I got Clyde this year, I think. I think Clyde will be joining.
I know they always do it on a day when I'm playing cricket. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
So that I can't join it. I ended up joining Nottingham last time, and it was a month after I joined Silph. I'd only ever battled a few people in GBL before, and then I went to do the regionals, and I can't remember who. Pokemon trainer Steph or something, and like a couple of other people who were
Steph's awesome. Steph's awesome.
reasonably good, just shit on me, and I was like, oh right, maybe you need to get better. To
Nottingham. I think Corden won it.
I can't remember.
I think he did. Yeah.
Because all the Stoke boys did Warrington as well, so Dark Quill and Numplum and stuff like that. Because it was quite late on in the month.
I was super polite. I was like rocking up saying, is it okay if I join your tournament? Because I'd only done the Commander Cup for Exeter or something at that point. I did 2 local cups and I won both of them. So I got into the regionals and I was like, is it okay if I join your tournament? Like, can I come in your Discord? And they were like, yeah, of course you can. All right, great. I'm going to spend every evening now just doing bloody Silph battles.
I'll probably miss out this year for the first year since I've been doing Silph, to be honest. I'm having an awful season. It's not going well.
You've hit regionals already. You'll get a regionals invite. I can tell you that already now.
What are you ranked at, Kev?
The blue one.
You'll get regionals. You've won a couple of tournaments. I think pretty much if you've won a tournament, you get an invite.
If you're top of a local community leaderboard, you automatically get an invite as well.
Oh no, I'm not top of any leaderboards.
Unless I go 0-4 or worse in Kent this month, I've got my regional invite via that leaderboard, which is quite nice. I've gone down to. I went to Exeter last month and swept there. That will be my regional place, hopefully, depending on who gets regionals slots this year. Just to say, look, I'm here, I'm coming.
I don't think there'll be that many regionals this year. I think you guys will be doing London's finest, to be honest.
Well, I might be Flintshire if Cal gets it.
We'll see. I mean, the tournament hosts will find out next month.
Yeah.
I had the great honour of hosting 3 different regionals last season. So that was fun. That was yeah.
Big ones up north as well.
My wife was not happy with me that month.
It's fine. You've got 11 other months.
Yeah, and I still threw 10 of them. So yeah. Effectively,
right.
she's got a month of me. But good
That's
job.
fine.
You know, and she likes me enough that she brings me gin. So you know, which I've drank in like the last 10 minutes. So
yeah. Right. Instant answers. After all the conversation we've just had, what do you think you're going to see a lot of and is going to be OP, Dan?
Litleo.
Clyde?
Vig.
Drew?
Wormadam.
There we go. And I'll pair it with a Chansey.
But did you notice?
I like the fact that you picked Wormadam, yet you picked a different confusing user to talk about.
Yeah.
I didn't want to ruin the order of the video. You already said so. I went PV Poke rankings. I went everything after Golbat. I was feeling nice. I thought I won't mess up the order.
We hadn't started.
It doesn't matter. You know, I was kind and considerate. Otherwise, I would have just gone, fuck you all, I'm going Galv.
You could have still gone Galv. It still would be in the order.
Right, let's refilm my Pokedex number.
We've just talked for 2 hours.
Yeah, I got you up in 6.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking that as well.
I think at this point, gents, we do cut it off for the evening, and it's been great. It's been really good. Kev, Clyde, I'm glad I've broached your chatting shit, Cherry. I hope we have you on again soon. It's been fantastic having you. And Drew, always a pleasure, mate. Always a pleasure. Never a chore. But do you know what is going to be a chore? Firefly. Seriously, Silph, sort it out, mate. Give us something good next month. Not a whitelist cup. Don't like whitelist colours.
Points.
Just give us something good. Give us Nemesis 2. Let's all do Nemesis again because that was really good.
Give us Pawniard. We want Pawniard back.
I thought you could give us porn then. I was like, what?
Give us pod. Give us pod.
We are.
And yeah, for everyone watching, thank you for watching. And have a good evening. Bye.